Welcome along to another episode of The Sweet Spot, brought to you by the Racing Post, sponsored by SBK. I'm Dave Clark. He's Steve Palmer. Steve, how are you?
Good morning, Dave. Yes, I'm okay, thanks. How are you? Enjoyed the first half of the European Masters much more than the second half. It was a game of two halves for Adrian Sadier fans, and we'll come to that.
We can indeed. Well, I'm a lot happier, Hammer. I had to catch up the golf highlights because I was at the City Ground on Sunday. A thriller, nonetheless, the golf, an absolute thriller. We are here, of course, on the Racing Post YouTube channel. We've got loads for you, whether you like horse racing, football, golf, ground racing, the whole lot. Make sure you jump in on the YouTube channel, subscribing. Getting involved with us means they love reading your comments as well. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Get involved. There's going to be loads of Ryder Cup chat. I'm going to look back. I'm going to look forward. The Irish Open this week as well, but loads and loads of Ryder Cup chat. That will come. A reminder that we are here with our friends at SBK. Jump onto their website. They've got a new customer offer for you. Bet 10, get £40 in free bets when you sign up. Wager £10, and then off you go. You can follow Steve in, have some free bets. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus, gambleaware.org. Of course, as ever. Right. Let's look back then, Steve. Thriston the Piston. Broke your heart, I suppose we can say. I mean, it started so well for you.
It was a fascinating tournament. I'd go easy on the Hammers chat because I know Nottingham Forest were very popular with punters on the coupon. I think a lot of punters' weekends were destroyed by the Hammers. So we'll disregard the Hammers chat. I know
we will not. We absolutely will not.
Yeah. Thriston the Piston. I mean, we love Thriston the Piston. Yeah. We'll always love Thriston the Piston. We were on him for his maiden win many moons ago. And he remains an underrated player, doesn't he? He went off 45-1 last week as a former champion. That's his second Cran success. And he's now won 5 DP World Tour events. He looks older than he is. He's only 28. And he's only been a DP World Tour regular since 2022. So, he wins at a good old clip. And I think the reason that punters were put off him last week, despite his course credentials, was because his PGA Tour campaign has been a train wreck. He's a PGA Tour rookie this year and been struggling to make cuts. And but back to his comfort zone of the DP World Tour and just a different player. And recovered really well on Sunday. You wouldn't have seen it, but he bogeyed the first 2 holes of the final round to surrender his advantage, but rallied really well. So long live Thriston Lawrence.
Yeah, right. Well, he was a 2-shot winner in the end. Rasmus Højgaard, Sami Välimäki, loads of previous winners going into the final round had a chance, didn't they? Matt Wallace, Matt Fitzpatrick was there. An interesting notice, Dave, just maybe coincidence, I don't know, a 7th South African to have won this event. Obviously a previous winner, but there's been 7 of them. Like, is there anything, should we be looking for the South Africans next year?
It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, they like playing at altitude. There's plenty of events in South Africa. They're on the high veld. So maybe there's something in that. But Thriston Lawrence will always be on our radar. We're big Thriston Lawrence fans. Matt Wallace is someone we need to really consider. Such an intense character. You probably would have missed the interview, but he broke down afterwards, which was a complete contrast to how he'd been through the tournament, because he arrived at Cran Thirthier having essentially surrendered his Ryder Cup hopes. His big dream is to get in the Ryder Cup. And he accepted that his dream was dead after the 2 bad Sundays he'd had previously. He shot an 81 in Denmark in the final round. He shot 77 at the Belfry. So he'd blown it the previous 2 weeks and turned up looking so relaxed last week. And he had this sort of zen-like state throughout the European Masters until the 14th hole on Sunday. And he flared his approach to the 14th hole, found the water, and then the demons were eating away at him. And then the post-round interview, catch it on the YouTube if you haven't. The interviewer brought up the Ryder Cup and he just capitulated. It's a shame. He's come close to making the Ryder Cup the last 2 times. Well, not the last 2 times, but he's come close previously before, and it's the same with like Rory McIlroy Masters and Tommy Fleetwood PGA Tour win. The longer this goes, the harder it'll be to achieve. But hopefully Matt Wallace will get on the Ryder Cup team eventually, because it clearly means so much to him.
Yeah, and going back to the course, which we mentioned loads last week, the scenery is just fabulous. But I was watching the highlights yesterday, And you forget what an exciting golf course this is as well. So many eagle opportunities, let alone birdie opportunities.
Yeah. It's a really attractive golf course. Always seem to get a tight finish. And we had another one on Sunday. I mean, Luke Donald will be thrilled with Rasmus Højgaard's form. Matt Wallace is not on the team, but Rasmus Højgaard is swinging so well. He topped the greens and regulation stats on Saturday, Dave, and then he topped the putting stats on Sunday. So everything's looking good for Rasmus Højgaard. He's the only rookie on the European team. So we've got an experienced team going to Bethpage Black. Højgaard is the rookie, but a sensible lad as well. Would be defending champion this week if he was playing, but he's skipping the Irish Open, Dave. Because he's played a lot of golf lately. Would have been his 4th week on the spin if he'd played this week. We got the BMW PGA next week and then the Ryder Cup soon after that. So I love the way that Rasmus Højgaard is thinking. I think his management team's done a great job there, taking him out of the Irish Open. The Irish golf fans might be a little bit cheesed off that the defending champion's not coming. But I think they've got to see the greater good. It's better for Team Europe that he has a week with his feet up. There's plenty of good players in the Irish Open, which we'll come to.
Well, it would be a seamless link to go straight to it, Steve. Is there anything else you wanted to add?
Well, I think there is plenty to add, actually. I mean, Matt Fitzpatrick needs to be a big discussion. We perhaps save him for the Ryder Cup chat at the end, but I think his finishing position was quite flattering in the end. He had a few birdies over the closing holes when the winning chance had gone.
By the way, we've got to talk about that. Was it a 3-wood out the sand? That was just incredible.
That was the shot of the tournament. That was the shot of the tournament. He was a desperate man by then because he was level par through 14 holes of the final round. Yeah, he was in that final 3-wood, as you say. All course winners, all love Cran Thirthier, but he was the weak link of that final 3-ball, and it's really surprising for me because his comfort level is so high at Crans, but he hasn't won a 4-round event since April 2023 now. I was really disappointed with how he performed on Sunday. Even more disappointed with Matt Fitzpatrick than I was Nottingham Forest. Matt
hold on a minute. Hold on. So it was obviously your coupon buster, not everyone else's.
They were very popular selections, but it was a tough one.
There you go.
Well, you must have been surprised by that Hammers. They did really well. They hung on in there, didn't they? And then came with the end. But anyway, we said we weren't going to talk about them. We must talk about Adrian Sadier because the punters have had a roller coaster ride there. That essentially the roller coaster essentially malfunctioned and they went flying off at the halfway stage. I mean, I'm so glad I saw a comment or Chris. Well done, Chris, because Chris had 1st round leader at 100-1. So Chris perked me up no end because Adrian Sadier opened with a 62, 1st round leader, and then 2nd round 65 to stay in front. And then we had that long period because it was a weather delayed event. It was a stop start event. We had that lovely long period where Sadier was leading. He didn't tee off till 3:50 p.m. on Saturday. So we had all day to enjoy it. I was having a lovely time. I was drinking red wine actually on Saturday lunchtime with my I don't normally go for the red wine, but it's a special occasion because I bought a bottle of Chateau Palmer for my dad's birthday, you see. Did you see that story with Cole Palmer? Cole Palmer wanted to bring out a new wine, and then Chateau Palmer blocked his move to bring out a wine for Did you not see that story?
I didn't see that story. I thought he was making it up. I'm going to be honest. I thought he was making it up.
No. Cole Palmer wants to bring out all these products and merch, and one of them was going to be a Cole Palmer wine. And then Chateau Palmer, a well-established brand over in France, said, no, you can't have that. And then that got my dad's interest, and he said, "Oh, I wonder what Chateau Palmer's like." And I bought him a bottle of Chateau Palmer.
What's the retail on one of them bad boys?
It was a lavish spend. But fortunately, let me have a good go on it as well on Saturday. So I'm enjoying the Chateau Palmer. Adrian Sadier's in the lead, and then at 3:50 p.m., he opened with 5 consecutive bogeys. I mean, I don't know what you were doing on Saturday afternoon, but the Sadier fans,
I wasn't drinking red wine. I know that much.
But the roller coaster went flying off. So I could have done with another bottle of Chateau Palmer after that. So he's gone from 1st to 33rd over the weekend. I'm sorry, guys. Adrian Sadier's putter just turned into a live rattlesnake over the weekend. We live and learn.
Anyway, well, listen, we love to hear people that have benefited. 1st round leader. He was that kind of player that could go wire to wire. It wouldn't be the first time that we saw him do that. So let us know. Now, if you found the winner with or without Steve's help, do let us know. We'd love to hear how you're getting on in the comments below.
Yeah, we do.
This show revolves around you guys watching and interacting with us. So we love reading the comments. Well done. What was the guy's name of the first round leader?
Chris.
Top man, Chris. Top bombing. Right, should we move on then to the Amgen Irish Open?
Yes, sir.
Right, we are at the K Club. A little bit of Ryder Cup Chat, 2006 venue. This event has been on the tour since 1974. It is nomadic. We've got a little bit of course form though. 2023 and of course 2016. Rory McIlroy, who is in the field. Tell us about the track first, Steve. Quite a famous one, this one.
Yeah, and you can come unstuck because there are two courses at the K Club. What used to be called the Smurfit course and is now known as the Palmer South course, and then the more prestigious Palmer North course. We're at the Palmer North this week, 7,441 yards, par 72, 4 par 5s, designed by my Uncle Arnie, opened in 1991. I played the course in 2008, which is not much help because it was such a long time ago, but I've got a mate who played the course a month ago, and he said the rough is really deep, Dave. He said the rough is really deep, and he consulted with the greenkeepers and asked them if it is going to stay this way for the Irish Open, and they said yes. This man is a punter as well, so he got all the info for us. So deep rough is going to be a factor this week. The European Open was staged here from 1995 to 2003, then again in 2005. The Ryder Cup, as you mentioned, in 2006. But the most recent course form we got, by far the most relevant, 2016 Irish Open, 2023 Irish Open. Water in play on 15 holes, and the weather's going to play a big role this week, Dave. We said it would last week, and it did. This week we got a mixture of sunshine and showers. Temperatures in the mid-teens, but breezy all week. Lots of really windy afternoons, particularly Saturday. I mean, Saturday's going to be windy all day. You know, Saturday will really, really sort this tournament out, I would have thought. So tough conditions. Long game precision, churning out greens in regulation, the key to success. A field of 156 going to post.
Do you think we can make a business case for us being kind of, wherever the tour goes next, we go there the week before to do some prep?
Well, that would be jolly, wouldn't it?
Bringing in the sweet spot from the K Club clubhouse, we could be this week, couldn't we?
I like that idea, Dave. Yeah, put it forward to the paymasters and see what they say.
You're talking about the weather, Steve. Is it kind of what we expected anyway? So when we're looking back on form, these are similar conditions. You know, it's wet and windy. The Irish Open is kind of comes hand in hand, does it?
Yeah. This time of year, the weather does turn, doesn't it? You can see the weather is turning, isn't it? I mean, I don't want to depress people, but the nights are drawing in, the weather's turning, the gazebos are being destroyed. You know, if you leave your gazebo up too long, then you're asking for trouble. I know my parents' gazebo was destroyed at the weekend. Was it got
anything to do with the red wine, though?
yeah. Saturday bogeyed the first 5 holes, and I took it out on the gazebo. No. It's just you got to be on gazebo watch this time of the year. You never guarantee good weather, and you're certainly not this week in Ireland.
Right, a stellar field though, led by the one and only Mr. McIlroy, of course. He's our market leader. Tyrrell Hatton, Marco Penge, third in the market. Steve, Shane Lowry, Rasmus Niergaard Peterson, Patrick Reed, Jordan Smith, Tom McKibben. They're all there, big guns on show here, led, of course, by Mr. McIlroy, who's clear favourite by some way. How many selections for this event?
Just 3, Dave.
Just the 3. Okay, who is the main pick then?
Shane Lowry. I think Big Shane will put on a show for us this week. I don't think there are many people out there who disagree with his European Ryder Cup wildcard pick. I mean, I don't know how you feel, Dave. I think there's so many reasons why he should have been on the team.
He only just missed out automatic anyway, didn't he?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It would have been an outrage if he wasn't on the team. But just in case there are a couple of plonkers out there who think he shouldn't be on the team, I think he'll win this week to silence them. He obviously looks forward to the Irish Open. His DP World Tour debut came in the Irish Open in 2009, and he won the tournament. You might be too young for that one, David. I don't know whether you were alive in 2009, but one of the most amazing performances in DP World Tour history. You know, this feisty Irish amateur, winning his national title at County Louth, pouring rain. It was glorious. I think he was about 500 to 1. And he hasn't won it as a professional, but I think it'll happen this week. He was 5th in the 2013 Irish Open at Carton House. Wasn't in great form coming into the 2016 edition, the K Club, his K Club debut, but respectable effort, finished 23rd. And then in the last Irish Open at the K Club 2 years ago, he finished 3rd, only 2 shots behind. So we know Larry likes the course. I think he's going to hang tough while others capitulate in this bad weather. Really demanding conditions, especially on Saturday. Larry, a master at controlling his ball in the wind. This forecast, when he looks at the forecast, he'd be inspired. Other people look at the forecast and go, oh, gosh. He knows he's got the game to handle this weather. He showed in 2009 how much he likes playing in front of his supportive galleries. And then, a decade later, 2019 Open at Royal Portrush emphatically proved the point, the ultimate pressure. And you must remember that one, Dave, 2019 Open at Portrush. I mean,
I was alive, yeah.
You were definitely alive then. And Larry's inspired by supportive galleries. And I like the way he's improved. He improved in the FedEx Cup playoffs. He had this little dip. You might remember the Truist Championship. We were on him for the Truist Championship. Unfortunately, we had Stracker as well. Stracker pipped him. And Larry looked so demoralized to let that Truist Championship go. That was in May. And I think he sort of lost love for golf for a bit. Understandably, he's getting fed up of not winning. And he seemed to sort of he seemed to lose his passion for the game for a few months. But in the FedEx Cup playoffs, I like the way he seemed to get his sparkle back. He closed with a 67 in the BMW Championship. Then he was the 13th best scorer at Eastlake in the Tour Championship. Second round, 63. Hold one of the longest putts I've ever seen in my life. I think the sparkle is returning to Larry. You saw him interviewed when he got his Ryder Cup pick yesterday. Couldn't wipe the smile off his face. Larry seems to be lifted with the Ryder Cup looming large. And I sense he's the man to beat this week.
You talk of sparkle. Imagine the sparkle at the party afterwards, should he win it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Could be detrimental to the Ryder Cup if he wins it.
He might have just enough time to get over the hangover. Yeah. I mean, the party when he won in 2009 Irish Open was intense. Obviously, the 2019. He's used to having these big parties in Ireland, and I think we're going to get another one.
Right, one for the home team then as the main pick. Who's the next best?
Tom McKibbin, who was brilliant in the Live Golf Team Championship the week before last. I know I was probably the only man on the planet who watched pretty much every shot of the Live Golf Team Championship, but trust me, McKibbin playing extremely well in that. He linked up brilliantly with Caleb Surat. They won both of their foursomes matches together. They were key to Legion 13 winning that tournament. McKibbin carded a 65 in the Sunday stroke play. Legion 13 won the event. They shared $14 million between them for that. McKibbin's decision to join Live, obviously hugely controversial at the time. Yeah. The only person who didn't see it as a controversial move was his bank manager, who is now feels the decision's fully vindicated. McKibbin is absolutely loaded. But do the Live events get his juices flowing, competitive spirits? I'm not so sure. But this week, Irish Open, DP World Tour, I think he's well up for it. We're getting to the end of the season. Some people looking ahead to the Ryder Cup. Tom McKibbin, this is a huge event. He'll prepare thoroughly for it and be highly motivated. And I think he's clearly playing well enough to contend. His Live campaign has been really strong, Dave. 7th in Adelaide, 6th in Hong Kong, 5th in Dallas, 4th at Valderrama, 7 top 20s in 13 events. He's played 3 regulation DP World Tour events this year, 6th in the Dubai Desert Classic, 3rd in the Singapore Classic. And the K Club Palmer North course, just ideal layout for him, I feel. It's all about strong ball striking. McKibbin, an elite driver. He's always been an elite driver. And in 2022, there was a Challenge Tour event on the Palmer South course, Dave, the Irish Challenge, and he finished runner-up in that. That was an amazing effort given his lack of experience. He was only 19 years old, outside the world's top 500, finishes runner-up on the neighbouring K Club course. And he's got competitive experience at the Palmer North Day from the Irish Open the following year. He was 39th in that. So now he returns 2 years later, older, wiser, better in every respect. I think a second DP World Tour title is entirely feasible.
That is music to my ears. As you know, I don't like to find out who you're tipping until we record the show, and I've already backed him purely on the big Czech swagger. I love that.
Swagger. Yeah.
You mentioned more experienced, knowledgeable, and more wealthy. He's turned up this time. The big Czech swagger. I love it. I love that.
I know. That's how you procured your wife in the Romford discotheque, wasn't it? Someone told me you came out of Romford with pushing a wheelbarrow of Reddies after a successful night at the Dog. Then you went to that discotheque in Romford, and then you just had that swagger, and she was so attracted to you, and that's how. Yeah,
listen,
I know. I've heard the story, Dave. I've heard the story.
If you're pushing a wheelbarrow of Reddies around Romford, you're not going to get very far. I can assure you of that, right? I can assure you of that. Right. That is the first two in the 10. We've got one more to come. Who is it?
We got one more to come, and someone else who carries the big Czech swagger. Another live golfer, Dave, Adrian Meronk.
Yes.
Another player who left the Live Team Championship feeling like Cock of the North, feeling really good about himself. Meronk isn't a Legion 13 player. Don't be fooled. He's a member of Cliques, but he could be really proud of his performance for Cliques in the quarterfinals. He beat John Rahm in the quarterfinals, Dave, in a match play contest. Real feather in his cap because his teammates let him down. Legion 13 won the match 2-1, but Meronk beat Rahm, and tremendous confidence boost. Because remember, this is a player that was controversially left off the Ryder Cup team a couple of years ago. Do you remember Adrian Meronk so close to getting a wildcard pick, and most people expected him to, and it was a real hammer blow for him that he didn't get it. So for him to prove that he can beat one of the best players in the world in match play, you feel good about that. He made 6 birdies and 11 pars. He beat Rahm 2-1, and generally been playing really well lately. He won the first live event of the season in Saudi Arabia. Then he had a bit of a dip, but 15th place at Valderrama got him going again. Then he was 7th in Live UK, 8th in Live Indianapolis. Really encouraging weekend in Indianapolis, 12 under par for the weekend. Now he's coming to one of his favourite events. He's a former Irish Open champion, Dave. He made his debut in the Irish Open in 2020, finished 10th. Then he won that Maiden DP World Tour title at Mount Juliet, another Parkland track in 2022.
Hi, Deb. Yeah.
I play Mount Juliet. Yeah. Similarities to this week's assignment. And then he went to the K Club in 2023. But you must remember that was just after he'd been left out of the Ryder Cup team. His head's all over the place. I think in those circumstances, he did well at the K Club. He finished 23rd, 4 under par rounds. So this time he comes in, feeling much better about himself. Big Czech swagger and playing well, and keen to prove a point. Adrian Meronk, probably still has some hope of getting on the Ryder Cup at some stage if he gets into majors. It's going to be difficult for him, but he's keen to prove a point, and a great driver. Always been a great driver. I got some. McKibben and Meronk, both great drivers. I think that's the key to success this week. Okay,
well, one man that is a great driver and a long driver is the favourite here, Rory McIlroy. Yeah. He is not among your selections. Is it price driven? What's the reasoning?
Yeah, I mean, he won the 2016 Irish Open at this course. He was 16th in the 2023 edition at this course. This course lends itself, as you say, to long straight driving, and he drove really well in the Tour Championship. It was the rest of his game that was let him down. If he's in the mood, Dave, he should be a factor. But it's a big if these days, isn't it? It's been a big if since the Masters, really.
Yeah, I was just about to say I just can't get a read on him since he won the Masters.
Yeah. No, that's it. He's a mercurial character. And he seems to have been on autopilot. He seemed to be on autopilot at the Tour Championship. I don't think he was highly motivated for that. I wonder whether he stays on autopilot until the Ryder Cup. The Ryder Cup has been his absolute focus. It's on his bucket list, isn't it, to win an away Ryder Cup. I think he's just entirely focused on the Ryder Cup. And the rough weather this week. You've got to be highly motivated. You've got to really apply yourself. You've got to be disciplined to succeed in the conditions he's going to face this week. And I just the really short prices, as you say, I'm not prepared to gamble that his focus will be there.
Okay, Tyrrell Hatton.
Tyrrell Hatton's got really funny course form, 5 miscut. Missed the cut a couple of years ago. He's been struggling for top gear on the Live circuit. His final 4 events as an individual, he didn't post a top 20. I was impressed with how he played in the Live Team Championship. He hold a lot of gutsy putts, but he hasn't got his absolute A game. And I can get Lowry at a bigger price. So that's an easy decision for me, knowing I can get Lowry at a bigger price than Hatton.
Another one I want to ask you about is going forward, is this what we're going to see now? Marco Penge is third in the market here. Obviously, he's been in great form for a number of weeks now. And there's been bits and pieces of money around for him. People quite happy to take sort of 16-1 and less. Was he be a contender for you?
Yeah, he's really popular in the market again. And he's a really popular player with punters. The
For
punters
the wrong reasons, but
punters understandably love him. I mean, I love him. I mean, maybe it's all the punters that are running for the Hainan Classic. He was our hero in the Hainan Classic. I've got the utmost respect for Marco Penge. I think he's a glorious golfer. And last week, Cran-sur-Sierre doesn't really suit him, and he finished 8th. I thought that was a really good effort. But this week, course debut and 5th consecutive week of competition. He must be running on empty, I would have thought. So, I think fatigue might hit him this week on his course debut. I'm more tempted by Rasmus Nygaard Peterson. Rasmus Nygaard Peterson, he should fall in love with this course. Penge and Nygaard Peterson, both course debutants, but Nygaard Peterson, just relentlessly good ball striker. It's just the putting frustration. I've been on him a lot lately. It's so frustrating watching the putt slide by, and he's playing his 4th week on the spin. I think he might be on the wane a little bit as well. And again, the bookies were showing him great respect. It's not like the bookies are well aware of how good Nygaard Peterson is now, so we're not getting any bargain there. So no, happy with my 3 reasons for leaving out those 4.
Well, the one other player I wanted to ask you about, and he, in my mind, I thought he was a contender to be on your team this week, is Patrick Reed.
In my mind, my dreams are real. Sorry, my son's been singing a lot of Oasis. He said that less than an hour ago. He's really winding up his sister by singing Oasis songs, and she's tearing her hair out in frustration. The summer holidays really need to end soon. Sorry, what was the question? I sort of drifted off when you
Patrick Reed.
Patrick Reed. I drifted off when you said that. Yeah, Patrick Reed. I mean, Patrick Reed is another reason to not back the favourite this week, because Rory McIlroy hates Patrick Reed. Patrick Reed will probably throw a tee at Rory McIlroy on the practice ground and unsettle him.
I'd be here for that as the final pairing on Sunday. And I know you're not with either of them, but I'm all here for that.
Yeah. I'd enjoy that as a spectacle. Yeah, Patrick Reed. I mean, Patrick Reed probably a bit offended how little conversation there was about him being on the team. I mean, Patrick Reed's played some wonderful golf this year, and should have been in the conversation really. But because it's a team event, and there's certain players on the team that don't like him. He was never really considered, was he? But yeah, I can see Patrick Reed being a nuisance this week. Yeah, he plays well in the wind. He can handle it. Interesting runner. But again, I don't think the bookies were particularly generous on him either. I think there's a few prices. I think the bookies have been a bit miserly this week.
Yeah, I'm counting sort of 5 players shorter than 20s. If you take Rory out, it's wide open.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's only Larry that I thought represented any value at the head of the market there.
Okay, well, I'll tell you where you can get a little bit of an extra value is with our friends at SBK. Jump onto the website, BetSBK, and they are offering a 20% extra winnings bonus. If you manage to find the winner of the Irish Open this week, you will get 20% extra winnings bonus on top of that. Terms and conditions apply as ever. Jump on the website, betsbk.com, and take advantage of that. If you're following Steve in, you'll get 20% on top of his 3 selections should one of them do the business. Right, Steve, we spoke last week. We made predictions. You was basically on the money. We were talking about Ryder Cup picks, what you thought was going to happen, what you'd want to happen, and kind of what we expected the likes of Keegan Bradley to do. And I like to go in chronological order. The USA announced their team first, so we'll go with them. We already knew the kind of automatics. The captain's picks were Justin Thomas, Ben Griffin, Patrick Cantlay, Colin Morikawa, Cameron Young, and not himself, Keegan Bradley. He went for Sam Burns, as you predicted, I think if I remember rightly. More than anything else, just to keep the captain happy, Scotty Scheffler.
Well, yeah, maybe. I thought Keegan Bradley played a blinder. I thought both captains played a blinder, and I thought it was much harder for Keegan Bradley to play a blinder, as we discussed. 100% the right decision. He could easily have messed it up. He could have easily messed it up, as we discussed, but he nailed it. 100% the right decision to leave himself out. They've got a fully focused captain now, which is really important. It makes life so much easier for the whole squad that they've got a fully focused captain. I think 5 of the 6 picks were the best point scoring options available to him. The players most likely to win points for Team USA. Yeah. And the other one, the one who is probably less likely to win points for Team USA than, say, Brian Harman or, say, Patrick Reed, was almost essential for team spirit. I'm talking about Ben Griffin, of course. I think leaving Ben Griffin out would have created a team spirit issue, not just for this Ryder Cup, but for future Ryder Cups, because Ben Griffin won twice this year, finished 9th in the Ryder Cup standings. If you leave the fella out that finished 9th in the Ryder Cup standings, he's done all he can to make the cut. I think it's quite demoralising. If you put 6 players ahead of the fella that finished 9th in the standings, I think team spirit comes under threat. I think it would have been so harsh on Ben Griffin that it would have been counterproductive in the end. I think Bradley took all the headaches away with his picks. Guaranteed clear roles, guaranteed team spirit, got Patrick Cantlay for Xander Schauffele, got Sam Burns for Scotty Scheffler, as you alluded to. He kept the best players on his team happy. He earned the respect of everyone. I mean, did you have some respect for Keegan Bradley for that decision? I think that's important.
I've had respect for him ever since you and him had it out on a putting green once.
Ever since he fronted up to me in Scotland. Fair enough. But I mean, I lost respect for him that day, but I've gained some respect from what he did there, because he must have been very tempting to pick himself, and the fact that he hasn't, I think, is something to respect, and I think it really enhances team spirit. And he's quelled my passion for Team Europe a bit, because the way things were going.
Oh, keep the faith, mate. Keep the faith.
Everything was going Europe's way to a ridiculous extent, and I was getting really quite pumped up about the idea of backing Europe to win this. And then I just had that passion quelled a bit by Keegan Bradley getting things right. But then Donald got things right as well, which will.
Well, just quickly on that, we spoke last week, and we definitely felt that Donald had an easier job than Bradley. You think Bradley's got it right? As you were talking, I was bringing up the market there. It doesn't look like it's had too much impact on the market, either captain's picks.
No, they haven't moved. And I think Luke Donald, as you say, there wasn't much try, particularly the way Nikolai Hogard played last week. Obviously I've been banging the drum for the Hogard brothers, but Nikolai had a shocker at Crans-sur-Sierre. I don't think it was going to come down to that final event, but if Nikolai had won that event, it would have been interesting. Let's say that, but he missed the cut. He missed the cut at Crans, and then Matt Fitzpatrick, just the logical choice. Matt Fitzpatrick, he hasn't looked like winning anything. We discussed that. He's not been. He's been disappointing at the finish of tournaments, but he's performing at such a consistent level for such a long time now, and he's a US Open champion. It deserves to be the pick. I say from the USPJ onwards, his form's been quite consistent. He turned it around in time. And I'm going to have to be patient with this lust for seeing the Hoggar brothers together in the Ryder Cup.
You will be. Right, let's give, if you've somehow missed it, the captain's picks were John Rahm, Ludwig Aberg, Victor Hovland, Seb Straka, Shane Lowry, and Matt Fitzpatrick. As we expected, Steve. It would have been a big shock if it hadn't have been those, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the safe play. Luke Donald's had the safe wager, and I shouldn't be criticising anyone for having the safe bet. And I'm not outraged by it. Obviously, I was passionate about having the Hoggar brothers together, but I'm not outraged by this decision to leave Nikolai out. I completely understand it. And it's a really solid set of picks. It's a really solid set of picks. It's an away side with a great chance. It's an away side with a great chance in the Ryder Cup. And I can't remember the last time I said that. I can't remember the last time I backed the away side in a Ryder Cup. But I've got to seriously consider that this time.
Well, we can now say that the Ryder Cup is this month. As we record this on the second, it is this month. So excitement builds. Steve, I know you're a thorough guy. Research and everything will go in. When does the work begin then? We know the teams. If you heard Luke Donald talk yesterday, he was on Sky when he was announcing his team, and he was being fired all sorts of questions as well.
Yeah.
What do we think of, when your prep goes in? The format is going to be a big thing as well here. Of course, he's going to have the decisions there. Do we start this week? What's your plans?
Well, we don't need to rush this day. We don't need to rush this. I mean, it is at the end of the month, and we've got two.
We've only got one tournament this week.
Yeah, but steady on. Patience, young Skywalker, patience. Because the Irish Open's obviously got plenty of European players playing it.
Yeah.
The BMW PGA Championship next week, the European Tour's flagship event. Yeah,
that'll be a good field, won't it? Yeah.
Chock full of European Ryder Cup players. So we need to keep an eye on them. And we need to keep an eye on the Sepp Straka situation. I should have mentioned it in the picks there. Sepp Straka gets a wildcard pick. We don't know what the family issues are, but the family issues are clearly significant because he hasn't entered the Irish Open, which he may not have done anyway, but he hasn't entered the BMW PGA Championship. He's the only one of the Ryder Cuppers, the European Ryder Cuppers, who's not entered the BMW PGA Championship. So remember, he pulled out the BMW Championship, didn't hit a shot in the BMW Championship because of the family situation, which we're not sure what it is. Then he finished last in the Tour Championship. So terrible return to competitive golf, and hasn't played since, and has not entered anything until the Ryder Cup. So, can you? It's a worry, isn't it? It's a worry. Are you worried, Rob? Are you worried? I'm worried. I'm worried because if he's going from finishing last in the Tour Championship to not hitting a ball competitively until the Ryder Cup, I think that's worrying.
Well, Luke Donald will be aware. You'd like to think what the issue is. I'm sure there's been a conversation. So
yeah. But the fact he hasn't entered the tournament, so he's the odd man out for the BMW PGA. Every single other European Ryder Cup will be playing there. But I don't know. I guess he might have been giving him more time to consider it. I guess he can still withdraw from the Ryder Cup, can't he? And then your Marco Penge fans might get.
Well, if he does, let me put that to you then, Steve. If he does withdraw, who do you think gets in?
Well, I'd pick Nicolai Hoggard, but I think Marco Penge would have an outstanding case. I think Marco Penge would have an outstanding case. But yeah, that's what I mean. That's why we can't rush these things because we still don't know what's going on with.
Yeah, but I am excited now because it is this month.
No, that's fair enough. No, I'm glad you're excited. And it is this month. That is fact. But yeah, I just want to watch a bit more golf. We got a PGA Tour event as well. The Procore Championship is running alongside the BMW PGA. You might get some Americans in that. So there's too much to consider for us to rush in now because, as you say, the prices seem to be stable. We're not going to miss out.
I don't think they're going to change at all now, are they? Unless one of the big names like Scotty Scheffler or Rory McIlroy pulls out for whatever reason.
Yeah.
What you're looking at now is probably going to be the market when the first ball is teed off.
Yeah. So we'll wait until Ryder Cup weekend and work from there. I believe we're going to a golf simulator of Bethpage Black, aren't we, Dave? For some
let's not give too much away. We've got big plans. We're going to have you covered right here on the Racing Post YouTube channel for the Ryder Cup that week. We've got big plans.
Big plan.
We're not. I can reveal that we're not going to be there. That's unfortunately we couldn't find the budget for that. Steve you fly first class, but we've got plans. We have got plans. So that is the Ryder Cup. They are the teams. Whether you agree or disagree with Messrs. Bradley and Donald, let us know in the comments below.
Let us know.
What are your thoughts? Are you steaming in now? Are you sitting on your hands like Steve has suggested? Let us know what your thoughts are. Can the away side do the business? Let's hope so. Anyway. Right, tipping roundup. Just the one event this week. 3 selections, Steve. Remind us who they are. Shane
Lowry, Tom McKibben, Adrian Meronk.
Simple as that. Team McKibben this week in a big way. And what have you got planned this week, Steve? I mentioned that you're a part-time palmer. There's only one golf tournament. What have we got planned?
Well, I'm supposed to be playing golf tomorrow at Fox Hills. I've never played Fox Hills before. If there's anyone who has and they can provide a bit of advice in the comment section, I'd very much appreciate it. I think some terrible weather is forthcoming. So, I'm a bit concerned about the weather forecast. So, I'm actually playing golf for the first time in a long while. And then at the weekend, I'll be going to the Weymouth football match. Did you know we've got the Messiah back now? Steve Claridge is back as Weymouth manager, Dave.
Wow, I thought he was going to say he's playing up front.
Well, we might need him the way things are going. Yeah, he might need to get the boots back on. It's great to have Steve Claridge back as Weymouth manager, and I'll be pouring my support behind him because obviously
I've not been across the season so far for Weymouth. How have they been getting on?
Oh, you've not been following the Southern. What league are we in now? Southern League South.
Like you have, either.
Well, we've dropped a couple of divisions. Yeah, Southern League South. I think they've got the word Premier in there somewhere. I love how these rubbish leagues have to chuck the word Premier in, don't they, just to make it sound glamorous. But yeah, we're in the Southern League Premier something. But yeah, Steve Claridge is going to take us back to the promised land. League football in my lifetime. Never seen Weymouth play in the league. Yeah, I think Steve's going to take us to the Football League.
Marvellous. Okay, let us know how that goes next week. We'll be here, of course, next week, giving you all the review and previews in the golfing world. I'm sure plenty more Ryder Cup chat as well. Enjoy the golf, gamble responsibly, and we will see you next week.